Welcome to the eCommerce Badassery podcast, the place for scrappy female entrepreneurs who want to learn actionable steps and strategies to grow the traffic, sales, and profit in your e-commerce business. I'm your host, Jessica Totillo-Coster, a 20-year retail veteran who spent 3 years as the only employee of a 7-figure online store. That shit was crazy. I know exactly how it feels to do all the things, and I'm sharing everything I learned the hard way so you don't have to. I may have started this business by accident, but supporting badass bosses like you lights me the fuck up, and I am so stoked to see you grow. Are you ready, babe? Let's roll. Hey, e-commerce friend. Today's episode is a replay of the holiday campaign planning series that aired last year. Even if you listened to it the first time, I encourage you to listen to it again because it's likely your business has evolved a lot since last holiday season, and there's probably something that's more relevant to your business right now, or you may just hear it differently. So you definitely want to keep listening. A few quick notes before we dive in. I definitely touch a bit about COVID here. And while we're not quite in the same state we were this time last year, it's still likely to affect the holiday shopping season. And with this new Delta variant and the lack of vaccinations, we just don't know what this year will be like. Plus, the majority of what I'm sharing with you can be used at any time in your business for all of your big campaigns. So, like I said, tune in even if you already have. Let's get right into it. Welcome back to the eCommerce Badassery podcast. I'm your host, Jessica Totillo-Coster. This is episode 2 of the holiday series where we're covering the 3 P's of campaign execution: planning, preparation, and promotion. If you haven't listened to episode 22 of the podcast where we talk about planning, go ahead and listen to that first, as these are all going to build on one another. And I structured this in a very specific order to make sure you have a super successful holiday season. Today's episode, we're going to talk about step 2, which is preparation. We're going to cover your business operations, your technology, we'll talk about shipping, and finally, customer service. If you haven't already, go ahead and download the checklist for this series. You can get it at ecommercebadassery.com/23. Keep it by your side while you're planning out your holiday season so you don't miss anything. If you got the checklist last week, you're good. It's the same one. Let's hop right into it with your biz operations. While you likely have these already dialed in for your business, you might need to make some adjustments during the holiday season. Some things you're going to want to think about are an extended return policy. It's pretty standard practice to extend your return policy to January 15th for gift recipients. If you don't want to give a full refund, you can also just offer store credit. Whatever you decide, make sure you're communicating that very clearly to your customers. Make sure you add it to all of your policy pages, update your order confirmation emails, and then add it into all of your regular campaign emails as well. You should even add it into your flows. Just remember to go back and remove that later. Remember, people need to see things multiple times before it clicks, and that includes your policies and procedures. So you can't say these things too many times. Don't be afraid to repeat yourself, because the more that you say it and put it out there, the less customer service inquiries and questions you'll have, which will ultimately save you time and save your customers frustration. You're also going to want to think about how to keep up with the increased demand. You're probably going to have to look at your staffing. So not only will you potentially need more hours or people, but you might have to rotate shifts to keep everyone socially distanced. And if you traditionally only do fulfillment during the week, you'll likely want to add people to the weekends, especially for Black Friday weekend, so that you can get everything shipped out in a reasonable amount of time. Of course, most customers were quite forgiving at the height of the pandemic, but I wouldn't expect that to be the case for the holiday season. And don't forget to stock up on supplies, because there's nothing shittier than running out of bubble wrap on Black Friday. Believe me, I have been there. Ultimately, whatever systems and processes you already have in your business, you will likely have to tweak them to accommodate the holiday increase. So start thinking about that stuff now, brainstorm how you can adjust, and just don't wait until the last minute. And bring your team in on this if you have one, because, they're going to have a different perspective and they're going to maybe remember things that got screwed up previously. So use your team as a resource and brainstorm all of this stuff together. Okay, let's talk about technology, because this is very often one of those things that we set and forget. But going into Q4, we want to take an active approach here and make sure we set ourselves up for success. For instance, make sure you have all of your tracking set up. If you've never set up Google Analytics or your Facebook pixel, now is the time to get that done. A quick Google search will bring you tons of walkthrough videos showing you how to do this. And whatever you do already have hooked up, just double check it and make sure the data is passing as you expect it to. So just test all the things. You also want to check your capacity for third-party apps. So an example of this is if you are using just Uno to collect email addresses on a pop-up. They limit and charge based on impression. And if you run out, it will stop serving your pop-up and you won't be able to grow your subscriber list. So if you have any tools that bill you based on your traffic to your website or your impressions, this could be, like I mentioned, just Uno. I think some cross-sell apps do this as well. Look at where you fall on average, depending upon how it charges you. So your average traffic or the average impressions, and jump up to the next level if necessary. So if you are towards the top of the cutoff, just go to the next level for Q4, and you can always downgrade again afterwards. This goes for your email too. Sometimes on smaller email plans, it will limit the number of emails that you can send per month. So if that's the case, make sure you bump up to the higher plan so you don't risk having any emails you schedule in advance not getting sent out. You'll also want to check for broken links on your site. This is something you should be doing on a regular basis anyway, but it's always good practice to just do a sweep before the holiday season. You can never be too sure about what gets indexed in search engines and how customers are going to find you. They could be clicking old links in emails. Believe me, they do it. I don't understand why, but they do. So make sure you're using either Google Search Console or Broken Link Checker. Figure out what links are broken on your site and then redirect them somewhere else, whether it's to a home page, to a category page, or to a similar product. And ultimately, when it comes to anything technological, just test it. Seriously, test everything a bajillion times. Everything from your discount codes to your promo banners and even the checkout on your website. If you're on Shopify, it's pretty safe that your checkout is fine, but it doesn't hurt to just go through and place an order and make sure that the experience is what you expect it to be. Because you know what? Weird shit happens sometimes, and you definitely want to catch it before it's too late. So let's talk shipping. And this is going to be especially important this year, like I mentioned, because all carriers are still experiencing delays, and it's likely to continue throughout Q4. So the first thing you want to do is figure out your shipping cutoff dates. In last week's episode, we talked about mapping out all the important dates on a calendar, including what might be happening in your life outside of your business, like spending time with the family, holiday get-togethers, or vacations. So depending on the amount of support you have in your business, you might have to actually move up your shipping cutoff date to accommodate that. The most important part here, whatever that date is, make sure you communicate this very clearly to your customers. And don't forget to include the actual time of day that you stop shipping orders and the time zone. There are a lot of consumers who still don't really understand how shipping works. They place an order at 10 p.m. with overnight shipping, and then they don't understand why it's not on their doorstep the next morning. Communicate this in a way that a 10-year-old can understand it. And put the information everywhere, just like your return policy. Everywhere. Update your shipping policy page, include it in your emails, on the announcement banner of your website. This is another thing that you can't over communicate. And if you haven't looked at this recently, look at your free shipping threshold. You want to make sure it's at least a few dollars more than your current average order value, because you want to encourage people to buy more. You want them to add more things to their cart to qualify for free shipping. And note that I said your current AOV. So it's possible you've done this before, because this is not the first time you've heard me talk about it. But it's also possible your AOV has shifted recently, or it might just traditionally shift during the holiday season. When you're deciding how much you should raise it, look at the average price of your products too, because you want to make sure that they only have to add 1, maybe 2 items to their order to hit that new threshold. Because that's a lot easier than adding 3 items or asking them to double what they were already planning on spending. So next up, let's make sure we're creating a kick-ass on-site experience for our customers. We're going to focus mostly on gift guides here, and that will also blend in with SEO preparation. Gift guides are great not only for SEO, but for your customers. And remember that the search engine's number one goal is to create a great experience for the user. So when you, as the business owner, focuses on that and creating a great experience for the user, you will be rewarded. When it comes to creating these gift guides, it's totally going to depend on your product assortment, your customer. So you're going to have to brainstorm this. But here are some ideas of different groups you could do just to get you started. So you can gather small items as stocking stuffers. You can curate by relationship, like gifts for mom or for your sister. You can curate by personality, like the music lover or the bookworm. Having a white elephant group is always good, as those are notoriously hard to buy for because the gift has to appeal to a lot of different people. And you can and should, of course, have some price points if it makes sense in your business. Many people, including myself, go into their holiday shopping with specific budgets for specific people. When you're creating these pages, you want to put some written content on them and use holiday terms like best gifts for so-and-so, best gifts under your price point. When you are deciding on these categories, don't go overboard. Get really clear on your customer, who they are, who they might be buying for, and make sure it makes sense for your product. Giving the customer too many choices will lead to analysis paralysis. Another great tool are wish lists. Not only does it give you insight into your customers' favorite products, but it gives them an easy way to share their lists with their loved ones. My husband's family still does Christmas lists for all the kids, even though we're all adults. And it felt silly at first, but it's honestly the best thing ever, so we can make sure we get things we actually want or need. If you are on Shopify, know that there are no true registry apps where the shipping address is hidden. So just make sure your customers understand that and that they won't want to share it with anyone that they wouldn't want to see their shipping address. The last topic for today is customer service. Great customer service, or lack thereof, has the power to make or break your business. I already mentioned the potential for needing extra help for shipping and fulfillment, but it's likely you will need additional support during this time to manage the increased customer service inquiries as well. At a minimum, make sure you have someone, even if it's you, replying and engaging with customers in the evenings and over the weekend when your sales are likely to be the highest. Adding a live chat functionality here is awesome. So totally do it. Even if it's just something that you can create automatic responses to commonly asked questions, for example. There's also ones that work through Facebook Messenger. This way, the inquiries come straight to your Facebook business page and you can answer them on the fly. You don't have to have someone just like sitting there on chat all day. Whoever you do bring on for extra help, make sure they're well versed in your products and your policies. And make sure they have all the tools they need to answer all the questions, because there's nothing worse than a customer service agent who doesn't really know much about the business and is just there to check updates on orders. You have probably experienced that at bigger retailers. I know I have, and it's really annoying. So as a small business, go above and beyond for your customers. Another way that you can go above and beyond is to offer holiday packaging. This can be something free you offer, like a printable gift tag, or even ordering gift wrapping for a fee if it makes sense. If you do offer something like this, use a cross-sell app that pops up when they go to checkout so that they can add the items to their cart. Next week, we're going to take the next step in your holiday planning process, which is promotion. So this includes your email marketing, your holiday graphics, and your actual sales. So until next time, e-commerce friends, I will see you on the flip side. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you like what you heard, I'd be so grateful if you'd leave a review on Apple Podcasts, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you're looking to surround yourself with more product entrepreneurs who totally get your life right now, get your booty on over to the eCommerce Badassery Facebook group. Can't wait to see you there. Until next time, e-commerce friends, stay badass.